Can sweater weather, not sweater weather, sweater weather, sweater weather. Do you like sweater weather? I love sweater weather. I'm wearing this sweater weather, the sweater because it's on a sweater. Do you like my sweater because it's sweater weather? So I'm gonna wear sweater weather, sweater weather. Hi, how are you? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. How's your day going? Comment down below if you are having a bad day, sweetie. Don't worry. Therapist Roshi is here for you. Therapist. Yes, I am a therapist and I will help you. Don't worry. I got you. Sweetie, I definitely have your back, okay? I definitely got you. Before even I begin with this video, I would just like to announce one thing. And that one thing is... drum roll, please! This channel is having a new series. I've been dying to do this series. And this series is called... Coffee with Maharshi, when I talk about things that just are needed to that I just talk about, you know, my opinion. I give my opinions. I'll be reacting to show stuff and while drinking coffee, of course. And I want to do this because Karan Johar is not doing his show, so I had to take the responsibility upon myself to take in Karan Johar's shoes, to walk in Karan Johar's shoes and do the show for him. With low budget, so I don't just so I'm getting paid. So Karan, what is up with that? Thank you. So this is it. This is the only announcement that I have. So let's just get on with the video. So today we're going to be talking about skinwalkers, and if you don't know what are skinwalkers, let me tell you. So the background of this creature is not very in detail or in any of the sort, because Navajo people don't trust a lot of non-Navajo people, so they don't tell a lot of foreigners who come into their village a lot about this creature or anything in general, because they don't trust them, and I get it. You got trust issues, so do I. So yeah, so the things that we do know, so there are healers and there are these creatures who perform dark magic. So you cannot ever say that this creature, a skinwalker, is a healer, because they perform dark magic and ceremonies which involve sacrifices and a lot of evil spiritual summoning of demons and etc. So, and what it's totally opposite of a healer. A healer is someone who performs good magic and would do anything to help the community and would be also mentioned as medicine men and women. And you can say that they are doctors of the entire village. So yeah, so during the process of you being a healer, you will get to know about both the good magic versus the dark magic as well. So you learn both of the magic. Now, in this process, few of the people who cannot handle the responsibility to have the balance between good and bad, they lose their control over the good side and move on to the dark side, because they cannot handle the balance between them, so they just turn into the dark side and they use ceremonies that involve sacrifices of children and so much more that we don't know about. There are so many things that we don't know about Navajo culture, because Navajo people do not trust foreigners who enter their village, as I said. So this is what I know, and this is what everybody else in the whole world knows. So there is this website called ranker.com where I have found a few stories that will help us, you know, get to know a lot about the skinwalkers and their terrifying stories of different people. So let's just get on with it. So the title of this article is Terrifying Stories of Skinwalkers, the legendary shapeshifters. Yes, as I said, they can possess, they can turn into, or they can also mimic your own voice. I think I will... Okay, so here's a photo somewhere on the screen about a skinwalker. So the first story is from Reddit user Neptune420. So, and the title of his story is "Maybe trying to hit it wasn't the best idea." So the story goes like, my father owns a small delivery service that operates out of Farmington, NM. We mostly deliver small packages out of the middle of nowhere that are too much of hassle for larger delivery companies to bother with. My dad is only employee and we have a few pickup trucks and a trailer. And one day we get a delivery out to Window Rock, AZ, on the Navajo reservation, about 2 hours from Farmington. My dad gets a call for the job while he was chilling with his Navajo friend, Travis, and his girlfriend. Travis mentions how he's got family in Window Rock that he hasn't seen in ages and suggests that they go with him. I was about 6 or 7 at the time and it was the summertime, so Dad decided we will go down together. He can do this delivery really quick. Then while Travis sees his family, we can go check out the Window Rock. So Window Rock is this big rock face with a large hole in the middle that lets you go through the highway to another place. So it's just a separation, which is a tunnel, and it is just called a Window Rock because it's just a huge rock, like a tunnel. Yes, you get it, okay? We had to convoy in separate trucks since my dad had loaded down with a freight. We decided to bring along some walkie-talkies. He has said talkie-talkies because it's cute. So we could communicate with each other. We spend our time in Window Rock, everything is generally uneventful, and we started heading home along the old highway with my dad and I in front and Travis and his girlfriend in the trucks behind us. I honestly don't remember most of the Window Rock trip, but this next part I can never forget. I never were somewhere on the highway between Window Rock and Gallup, and it just had rained earlier in the day and the road was kind of slick, so we were taking it pretty slow. On the left of the highway there is nothing but sandstones cliffs, and on the right there is this huge separate field separated from the road by a small barbed wire fence. We crest to the top of this hill, and down at the bottom of the hill we see what appears to be a very large dog sitting back on its haunches in the middle of the road facing the cliffs. My dad calls over the radio, "Hey Trav, do you see that big ass dog?" Travis starts yelling back at the radio, that is not a dog, speed up right now and hit it. He almost sounds hysterical, but he just keeps screaming, "Hit it, just hit it, please, hit that fucking thing right now." So my dad starts to speed up, and as we get a bit closer, I began to see it a little more clear. It is covered in this brown, wiry, matted hair that appears to be dried up blood all over it. It's still facing the cliff, but the moment our headlights hit it, it turns and looks at us, and it has a face. I don't know how else to describe it rather than it's a mixture between a bear and a human's face. It looks twisted and distorted and almost in pain. As we get closer to the thing, we start to realize it's actually fucking huge. Though it's still sitting on its haunches, it's about shoulder height with the hood of the truck. We get literally inches from hitting it when it lets out the scream that sounds like someone screaming out of their lungs, and we're filling with water, and it leaps backwards towards the field and landing just on our side of the barbed wire fence. Then with another leap it's gone from sight. Travis comes over the radio. "Holy shit, keep driving. We have to get out of here. We have to go faster." He kept saying the last part, we have to get out of here and we have to go faster. Pretty soon we were speeding like crazy and were just about to come near the outskirts of Gallup, where we get pulled over. Travis pulls his truck over with us. Naturally, this makes the cops, a Navajo man himself, very on the edge, and he immediately asks why Travis felt the need to pull over as well. Travis says, "We just saw a Skinwalkers a few miles back and it's been following us. The officer immediately turns white, stammers something about a verbal warning, gets onto the cars and takes off. We do the same. We didn't see anything else that night, but when we got home, Travis refused to let us leave without taking some kind of Navajo totem thing that was supposed to keep it away. I would like to give this story a bit, what do you call? Let's remark this video. So out of 10, I would give this a 9. No, 5. It didn't have a lot of twists and turns. It didn't have what we needed, but it did give us a fatal description of a, what do you call, a skinwalker. So it's a bear, according to this guy. It's a bear mixture with a human's face. So it looks like something like this. Someone is on the screen, but over here it's something. It's supposed to look something like this. So yeah. So let's just go on with the second story, shall we? So the second story is from Navajo Joe, and it's called A Tap at the Window. I was a kid when this happened. My uncle and I were finishing up chopping, gathering woods for my grandmother because it was getting dark. Driving back on a dirt road about 30 miles per hour, give or take 5 miles per hour, had this awful sense of being watched before I could turn out to look outside my passenger side window. My uncle quickly shouted, "Don't." I completely froze. My heart felt like it was beating out of my chest, then completely stopped when I heard a tap at my window. My uncle sped up and was loudly praying in my native language. I didn't know what was going on and thought it was over till our truck suddenly dipped from the bed. My uncle then started saying, "Look at me and don't turn away," over and over and over again. Then I heard it again, tap tap, on the window behind me. It was getting harder for me to breathe and I wanted to cry. 1 minute or two passed away and the truck dipped again. My uncle looked around and hid. It was quite besides the truck and the road. He looked at me and said, "We'll ask your father to do a prayer in the morning, so the evil will forget our faces." Navajo to English equivalent. I remember curling up on the seat and just staring at the radio, watching the time, listening to my uncle sing an old prayer till we got home to my grandmother's house. I called up my uncle because I had a nightmare about that night. We talked about it for a bit. He said that I didn't see faces, just eyes, like brake lights when you see on the, like you see on the roads. It watched you. Navajo before it watched you. Before hanging up, I tried joking with him about it. Why didn't he step on the brake when it was in the back? No laughter, just a pause, because it wasn't alone. Okay, so I would like to give this story a 10 out of a 10 because the ending, the only word that I can say is period. It was the best. I think this is the best story yet. And I know that we have only read one, but then this story has given us everything: drama, climax, suspense. Storyline was just on point. The ending was the last but not the least story of this thing is of the Skinwalker is "Don't Get Off the Bus" by the Reddit user I am Jesus. I like your name though. Yeah, it's better than Navajo Joe. So the story goes, anybody that has seen or has been on the Navajo reservation has either probably had some creepy things or have experienced pretty creepy things, namely skinwalkers. I have only seen one. Here's my story. I come from a small town in the northern Arizona that's sandwiched between the Butte Reservation to the north and the US's largest Navajo reservation to the south. My high school, being small, always had to travel south about 5 to 10 hours on hours one way to play at another high school in any sport. This means that we travel a lot on the Navajo reservation, and we usually stayed at hotels when we would head out to play and come home in the morning. But this trip was a little different. I remember the basketball coach saying that the school doesn't have enough money to put up the teams in hotel that trip. So we were going to be on the road for total 12 hours. I was the only male senior to play basketball at that season. We had just got done playing our game and headed home on our bus, the Big Blue. We were headed out, and it wasn't long, about like 2 hours of driving before we had entered the reservation. By this time everyone was asleep, but about 2 in the morning, we had crossed the reservation's border when I noticed the bus driver had sped up and was going about 85 mile per hour. I thought it was a little weird because he never exceeded the speed limit, or at least not in my school career. For some reason, I couldn't fall asleep for the rest of my teammates. I just sat at the back of the bus staring out across the desolate desert landscape that was lit up by the full moon. As I looked out, I could see a figure running towards the bus at an angle of pursuit and was keeping up with the bus at 85 miles per hour. As the figure got closer, I saw that it was a humanoid form. As a matter of fact, it exactly looked like a human, only that the face was painted half black and half white with glowing eyes like a rabbit's eyes, reflecting light from a spotlight. Immediately thought, holy crap, it's a Skinwalker. The Skinwalker ran up to the edge of the road and just kept the pace with the bus hurdling sagebrush and bush rocks while staring at me. After I made eye contact, the thing I could not look away. It was like something was holding my head and my eyes in place. This Skinwalker just smiled at me, this inhuman smile, and that went ear to ear, showing crooked yellow pointed teeth. I felt like I was going to throw up, and I was panicking throughout the whole ordeal. The Skinwalker started to crumble down onto its four legs, still keeping up with the bus. I could see that his bones were cracking and it was reforming. The hair started appearing all over the Skinwalker's body, and about 3 seconds it was now a coyote, and it ran off back into the desert out of view. As soon as it was gone, I ran on board bathroom and puked a mixture of blood and food. I didn't want to tell anyone for the fear that they would think I was crazy. I confided in my Navajo friend. She told me that I needed to see the chief, who also happened to be a friend of mine, and get a blessing. I saw him the next day in the school parking lot. He just came up to me and mumbled something in Navajo while waving a feather scepter-like thing. Turned around and got into his truck and drove away. To this day, I haven't seen another Skinwalker. It might be due to the fact that I moved away from the town and the reservation. And even if I do go south, I go way around. I would like to rate this a 6. Okay, so the first one comes at 9. We shouldn't have hit it one from the Reddit user Neptune420. I would rate you a 5. Then this one, Don't Get Off the Bus by I Jesus. I would like to rate this a 6. And the best one yet, The Tap Tap at the Window by Reddit user Navajo. You should change your name. Okay, I would like to give you a 10 out of 10 because it has everything. Literally, I'm still in shock that it was so good. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, subscribe to my channel, click on the bell notification icon to this so you can get notified when I upload a new video. Like this video because it's gone. It's free. Go do it. And you can also watch my other videos. And if you want to send me a few things that you want me to look at on my Coffee with Maharshi or anything, or you want me to just to react or do a case, you can just send it to me on my email, which is at maharshijangid@gmail.com, or you can just DM me on my Instagram, maharshijangid. I'll be linking both of them in my bio. And you can also follow me on Twitter, everybody. I'm on Twitter now and Snapchat. So I'll be linking all of my social media down below, and you can go check out my other videos. And till then, I'll see you. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.